Breaking Bad, a show that redefined television and cemented its place in the pantheon of all-time greats. But what makes it a masterpiece? Let's take a look at the first season and explore the references, parallels, and foreshadowing that make this show so special. We see Walter White, a high school chemistry teacher struggling with the mundanity of his life. He's stuck in a dead-end job, and his brother-in-law, Hank, is a DEA agent who looks down on him.
Hey, it's not gonna bite you, all right? Looks like Keith Richards with a glass of warm milk.
But there's a spark of something more in Walter, and we see this in the way he interacts with the students, and the way he gazes longingly at the equipment in his classroom. From the very beginning, we see that Walter is a man who feels trapped and unfulfilled. He's a brilliant chemist, but he's stuck teaching high school. This sets up the central conflict of the show: Walter's desire to be something more than what he is. He eventually turns to cooking meth with his former student, Jesse Pinkman, in order to secure his family's financial future after he discovers he has terminal cancer. We see the care and precision he puts into the process, and the excitement and satisfaction he gets from it. As we see Walter begin to embrace his new role as a meth cook, we can see how the references to chemistry in the show are used to mirror his internal struggles. The process of cooking meth becomes a reflection of Walter's own transformation. We see the brutality and danger of the drug world, and the contrast with Walter's newfound sense of purpose and excitement. The show also uses parallels and foreshadowing to great effect. The DEA's efforts to crack down on the meth trade foreshadows the inevitable collision of Walter's two worlds, and the contrast between the excitement and danger of cooking meth with the mundanity of his previous life serves to highlight the gravity of his decision. Coming to the end of Season 1, Walter meets Tuco Salamanca, also known as Tuco. Tuco is a powerful and unpredictable drug lord and meth distributor who becomes one of Walter White's main rivals in the drug trade. At the end of the season, they do another deal with Tuco, and as a lot of you may remember, it doesn't go amazing. The first season ends and leaves the audience wondering what's going to happen next. In Season 2, we see the transformation of Walter White from a meek high school chemistry teacher to a ruthless drug kingpin, while also delving deeper into the psyche of Jesse Pinkman and the impact of his actions on those around him. The show masterfully explores the moral ambiguity of these characters, and the viewer is left questioning whether they are rooting for the good guy or the bad guy. Season 2 introduces Gus Fring, one of the most iconic and memorable antagonists in television history, and his presence elevates the show to new heights. Along with Gus, we also have the introduction of Hector Tio Salamanca, who adds an additional layer of complexity to the show's already rich tapestry of characters. Tio's backstory and his personal vendetta against Gus makes for some of the most intense moments in the series. The use of references, parallels, and foreshadowing. Breaking Bad is a show that rewards close viewing and attention to detail, and Season 2 is no exception. From references to Greek mythology, specifically the story of King Midas, to parallels between Walter and Gus, to subtle foreshadowing of events to come. The show keeps viewers on their toes and adds an additional layer of depth to the viewing experience. The use of these literary devices also adds to the show's complexity and makes it a rewarding rewatch. The stakes are raised in Season 2 as we see the characters' actions have consequences on their personal lives, as well as the lives of those around them. This adds a sense of tension and urgency to the show, making it a white-knuckle ride from start to finish. The show's tight pacing and expertly crafted plot twists keep viewers on the edge of their seats and make for some of the most nail-biting moments in television history. The motif of the king is also prevalent throughout the season. Breaking Bad explores several themes such as power, pride, and the cost of one's actions. The show also explores the theme of family and the lengths one would go to protect it. These themes add a level of depth and complexity to the show that is not often seen in other crime dramas. Season 3 picks up where Season 2 left off, with the show's central conflict between Walter and Gus Fring. The season takes the audience on a roller coaster ride of tension, as we see the characters' actions and decisions leading to consequences that threaten to tear their world apart. The stakes are higher than ever before, and it keeps the audience on the edge of their seat. The exploration of Walter White's psyche. Season 3 delves deeper into the mind of Walter White, as we see him struggling to come to terms with the person he has become. He starts to question his own morality, and we see him grappling with the guilt and weight of his action. The season portrays the mental and emotional toll of his actions, and the viewer is left questioning whether his actions were justifiable or not. The character development of Walter White is one of the highlights of this season, and it makes for a truly captivating viewing experience. Breaking Bad has always been a show that rewards close viewing and attention to detail, and Season 3 is no exception. The show uses symbolism and motifs to add layers of meaning to the story, such as the recurring use of the color blue, representing Walter's descent into darkness, and the use of mirrors, representing the character's self-reflection. The use of these symbols and motifs makes the show even more thought-provoking and adds to the overall complexity of the story. The season reaches a climax that is both shocking and satisfying, as the show's central conflict is resolved in a way that is both unexpected and fitting. The resolution of the season leaves the audience wanting more and sets up the show for an incredible final stretch. The climax of this season is one of the most memorable moments in the show's history, and it leaves a lasting impression on the audience. Season 4 picks up where the previous season left off, with the characters' lives in shambles after the events of the previous season. The season continues to escalate the story, as we see the characters dealing with the aftermath of their actions and the consequences they are facing. The season is full of tension and suspense, and it keeps the audience on the edge of their seats. We see Walt and Jesse having to deal with the repercussions of their actions, and the tension between them is palpable. Gus Fring, the powerful drug lord, is now aware of their actions and is looking to eliminate them from the game. This creates a sense of unease and uncertainty throughout the entire season, as the audience is never quite sure what is going to happen next. The development of the characters. Season 4 is a continuation of the show's exceptional character development. We see the characters continue to evolve and change as they struggle with their own morality and the weight of their actions. The season explores the characters' motivations and the reasons behind their actions, making them even more relatable and human. We see Walt's descent into darkness as he becomes more ruthless and manipulative. He starts to lose touch with his family and his relationship with Skylar becomes strained. On the other hand, we see Jesse's character arc as he starts to question his actions and the people he's surrounded by. He starts to become more empathetic and compassionate towards others, which is a stark contrast to the Jesse we saw in earlier seasons. The season is a masterclass in character development, and it makes for a truly captivating viewing experience. The season explores themes such as the price of power, the cost of loyalty, and the consequences of one's action. The themes are explored through the characters and their actions, making the show even more thought-provoking and meaningful. We see how the desire for power and wealth can corrupt even the most noble of individuals. As Walt's character arc demonstrates, the themes add depth to the story, making it even more engaging for the audience. The season reaches a climax that is both shocking and satisfying, as the show's central conflict is resolved in a way that is both unexpected and fitting. The resolution of the season leaves the audience wanting more and sets up the show for an incredible final stretch. The climax of this season is one of the most memorable moments in the show's history. As we move into the final stretch of Breaking Bad, the show reaches new heights of excellence in its 5th and final season. This season brings the story and characters to a satisfying conclusion and solidifies the show's status as one of the greatest television shows of all time. Season 5 takes the story to new heights, as we see the characters dealing with the aftermath of their actions and the consequences they are facing. The season is full of tension and suspense, and it keeps the audience on the edge of their seats. We see Walt and Jesse having to deal with the repercussions of their actions, and the tension between them is palpable. The season is a masterclass in storytelling, as the show's creators expertly weave together multiple storylines and characters to create a cohesive and compelling narrative. We also see the introduction of new characters such as Lydia and Todd, who bring new dimensions to the story and add to the overall tension. Season 5 is the culmination of the show's exceptional character development. We see the characters reach the end of their arcs and their stories are brought to a satisfying conclusion. The season explores the characters' motivations and the reasons behind their actions, making them even more relatable and human. We see Walt's descent into darkness and how his actions have affected those around him. On the other hand, we see Jesse's character arc as he struggles with the guilt and trauma of his actions. The season is a masterclass in character development, and it makes for a truly captivating viewing experience. The characters' arcs are also intertwined with each other, which makes the story even more compelling. The show has always been rich in themes and season. The season explores themes such as the cost of power, the price of loyalty, and the consequences of one's actions. The themes are explored through the characters and their actions, making the show even more thought. The themes add depth to the story, making it even more engaging for the audience. The show also explores the theme of family and how it can be both a source of strength and a source of weakness. It also explores the theme of fatherhood and how it shapes the character. The season reaches a climax that is absolutely shocking, as the show's central conflict is resolved in a way that is perfect. The resolution of the season brings the story and characters to a satisfying conclusion, leaving the audience with a sense of closure. Even though it's the end of Walter White, we see that he accomplished what he wanted.